Yeah, she can still win, but
Bye.
In this hard-hitting episode of the PB podcast, we break down the chaos inside the Young Turks senior staff after Donald Trump's expected 2024 victory. Emotions run high as the panel tackles the deep divide between rising populism and the old political establishment, two forces fighting for totally different futures in America. From the economy to culture wars, from patriotism to party lines, it's a battle of visions. Your jumps into a fiery debate that reveals how hard it is to match party talk with what real people want. Don't miss this unfiltered showdown. Watch now.
We have with us Cenk from Young Turks. Cenk, can you hear me?
I can, brother, I can.
Cenk.
Woo!
Be cool.
Love that reaction.
Cenk, first of all, you said you were going to do it. I respect you for joining us. I know it's 1 o'clock. You're up here with us. People can agree or disagree, say whatever they want about you. You've been a fighter since day one, and you and I have had some of the best conversations together, respectfully disagreeing, and I appreciate that about our relationship together. However, being on tonight, I was hearing that you were giving your message, and you were a little bit somber about what's going on right now with the story. DNC chair just came out and said she's not going to come out to give the speech tonight. Trump right now is on his way to Palm Beach to maybe give his victory speech. New York Times just came out saying Trump's going to win 299. We had the Rasmussen CEO on, Mark Mitchell, giving his perspective. Where do you stand right now with 1 o'clock in the morning with Kamala versus Trump?
Yeah, she can still win, but
Bye.
The video kicks off with conservative voices celebrating Donald Trump's 2024 win, calling it a massive victory for conservative values. The tone is triumphant, as commentators point to the Democratic Party's collapse, blaming its cozy ties with big corporations and out-of-touch social agendas for pushing away its own voters. In the middle of all the celebration, Cenk from the Young Turks appears on the panel. He looks visibly shaken, his face a mix of frustration and disappointment, just over the loss, but over where he believes the Democratic Party has gone wrong.
look, on the Young Turks, we're honest. And so we've been covering it honestly the whole time. I said that Donald Trump had a better chance of winning about a week ago, and I've been saying it for about a month. At the end, a bunch of polls that came out said that Kamala Harris was likely to win, but it looks like they were wrong. And so right now, as things stand, I just came off the Young Turks show where I lit into the Democratic Party. Bunch of losers, corporate Democrats. I hate them. They've cost us election after election. They're corrupt. And they lost, it looks like, to a syphilitic clown, total moron, con man, Donald Trump. So if you lose to a buffoon like Donald Trump twice, what does that make you?
So let me ask you, hang on guys, hang on.
I got an echo, by the way.
I want to ask you a follow-up question because can you, listen, hang tight. Cenk, question for you. A question that you're a business guy. You've been running a business for a while. You're not with one of these mainstream guys. You're not MSNBC. You were in the past. You came from you left. You said you're going to do your own thing. Young Turks, it has a history of doing great things, millions of subscribers on what you've been able to pull off. But let me ask you, are you at a point where maybe the American people are just sitting there looking at a few policies being presented by the Democrats saying, this is just weird? Are you at a point that you're willing to accept that some of the directions the party's gone, they're losing Democrats? Democrats are leaving the party because it just doesn't sound like the John F. Kennedy Democrats from 50, 40, 60 years ago. It's just a very weird party today. Is that where you are, or no, you're just think they have bad leaders?
So it depends on which side of the policy you're talking about. So if you're saying economic policies, our economic policies are super popular. So paid family leave, which most Republicans agree with. Higher wages, most Republicans agree with. Money out of politics, most Republicans agree with. But when you talk about some of the social issues, I warned some of my leftist friends, do not go too extreme. So I believe in trans rights, but saying that trans detainees should get taxpayer-funded surgeries makes no sense, and I knew that it would be deeply unpopular.
Speaking from a progressive stance, Kinka delivers a sharp takedown of the Democratic Party, focusing his anger on corporate-line Democrats who, he says, sold out the party's values by chasing wealthy donors. According to Uygur, this reliance has shattered trust and pushed the party away from working-class and struggling voters who now feel abandoned. He argues that by ignoring bold economic populism, Democrats blew a major chance to rally disillusioned voters sick of corporate control. Uyghur's frustration runs even deeper. He believes the party's obsession with extreme social issues is driving away everyday voters. While establishment Democrats dance around urgent problems like income inequality, he says their misplaced priorities led straight to their defeat at the ballot box.
We are honest on the Young Turks. So you've got to be keeping it real. We're populists. But hear me now, and you'll quote me later. Donald Trump is a crook, and he's going to rob you guys blind.
Dave, let me ask one and it'll come to you. Let me ask one, I'll come to you guys. Cenk, we have Dominic Tarczynski here and Dave. They have a question. They'll come to you here in a minute. But let me ask you this question. Your opinion about Trump? You and I talked about it when you were on the podcast last time. You said you thought you were a better businessman than him. What has he done in his life? Well, we had that conversation. I totally get it. I even brought it up on Rogan's podcast that I don't agree with you there, but it's your position. I totally understand. Here's a question I got for you. Your show with Anna Kasparian, the two of you guys together. I've been watching Anna closely, and a lot of people have. She's kind of right now like, dude, what the F is going on? This doesn't make any sense. Why are you attacking me? There is a major community that is thinking Anna, who went from the position she had 5 years ago, 7 years ago, some would have called her maybe a socialist, where she is kind of like right now, maybe even becoming a libertarian. I'm not saying a Republican or a conservative, but maybe a little bit of a libertarian independent. You're around her the most. You're seeing that taking place. Why do you think she is moving? How are they losing someone like Anna Kasparian, who's very talented, very capable, very formidable? Why do you
When asked to weigh in, OAR pointed to specific social policies he believes hurt the Democrats, like taxpayer-funded gender surgery for inmates, saying it's a turnoff for many voters. While he stands by transgender rights, Auer warned that some progressive ideas have gone too far, pushing everyday people away. He argued the party should go back to basics, like Bernie Sanders-style economics, higher wages, and getting corporate money out of politics. These, he says, still connect with most Americans. Uygur echoed the concern, seeing a growing gap between what left-wing activists push and what regular voters actually care about. His message to Democrats: get back to kitchen table issues if you want to win people back. Take a look.
Again, it depends on if we're talking about economic issues or social issues. So in economic issues, she still believes every single thing that she believed. On crime and homelessness, I would argue, and I have argued with her on air, that we haven't changed our position at all. What happened was the Democrats did a switcheroo in California. So we voted for a ballot measure where they didn't tell us that they would take some felonies and move them to misdemeanors. Well, if you don't put it in the ballot measure, how the hell are we supposed to know? So now California is reversing that tonight. Because you know who likes crime? No one. No one. Okay. So if you're a leftist out in California and you pretend there is no crime and we should move like domestic assault into a misdemeanor, we disagree with you, but we've always disagreed with you. So I think that it's really the Democratic politicians that are corrupt and a few leftists online that have gone too far. But when you talk about the core of the Bernie Sanders economically populist positions, they are still massively popular, and tons of conservatives agree with that.
As the debate heated up, conservative firebrand Candace Owens directly confronted Cenk, slamming him for once comparing Donald Trump to literal Hitler. She accused him of pushing divisive, over-the-top rhetoric that only deepens the political divide. Owens argued that extreme labels like that don't help anyone, they just fuel outrage and shut down real conversation.
I'd like to ask the question. Hi, Cenk, nice to see you. It's Candace. Hi. So my question for you would just be, I think we can all agree that this is a tremendous referendum on the left, right? I mean, you brought out Taylor Swift, you've brought out Beyonce, you've brought out LeBron James. You guys have used every vocabulary word available to you to explain to the American people that Trump is a dictator, he's literally Hitler, and the American people seem to be rejecting that resoundingly, right? Does that at all signal... Let me just ask you blankly, what does that signal to you as someone who I think has contributed to that rhetoric? Is it a signal to you that just all the American people support a dictator, or does it maybe make you go, maybe I'm missing something here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not missing anything. So I've been telling the corporate Democrats, stop kissing the ass of the donors. They're not here to help us, they're here to rob us.
He has not been saying that. By the way, I would
tell the Republicans the same thing. I would tell you guys the same thing. Trump's donors are going to rob you blind. So these corporate Democrats took the donor money and they ran campaigns that were not populist. That what they did was they ran campaigns that were anodyne, boring, didn't actually attack Trump on his number one problem, corruption, the fact that he's a fake populist. You know why? Because they don't even understand populism. They are the establishment. So the real problem is the establishment of the Republican Party like Mitch McConnell and the establishment of the Democratic Party like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Nancy Pelosi.
Owens pushed back hard, saying that extreme comparisons like calling Trump Hitler only make America more divided. She argued that this kind of language turns off voters and kills honest debate. By boiling big political issues down to dramatic labels, she said, we lose any chance of real conversation. In response, the user fired back, pointing to Trump's post-election actions, claiming his refusal to accept the results and efforts to overturn them were dangerous and anti-democratic. That, he said, was reason enough for strong criticism. The debate then shifted to celebrity influence in politics. Conservatives blasted AER for leaning on stars like Taylor Swift and LeBron James to rally support, arguing it shows how out of touch Democrats are with real-life struggles. They said these endorsements put image over substance and ignore what working-class Americans actually care about. The exchange made one thing clear. Both sides have completely different ideas on how to reach the people and what real leadership should look like.
I do not have a question. I would rather have a comment as a member of the Parliament, European Parliament, who was called a fascist, Islamophobe. I was called all these names. And I'm happy that we have this moment of silence now, because I would like to remind you, these people are lecturing us about unity. So I would like to remind you again, they are talking and lecturing us about unity. So now you have a chance to practice what you preach and show the whole nation what the unity and democracy means. You have to have a class to lose, because if you don't have a class when you are losing, you have no right to win.
The conversation shifted to the meaning of patriotism and what it really means to stand for America. Sager spoke about the American dream, calling it the fight for equal opportunity for everyone. But he said that dream is slipping away as billionaires and private equity firms drive housing prices sky high, making home ownership a fantasy for regular people. UI added that unchecked corporate power is breaking the promises. America was built on serving the elite while everyday citizens fall behind. Conservatives pushed back, saying Trump's policies better addressed what Americans actually need. They argued that under Biden, Democrats have ignored key problems like inflation and border chaos, making life harder for working families. What do you think of this heated debate? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and